Hello again. I'm Thomas Nyback. This is 365 days towards racial change, day 325, going down under our belt. We're going to talk about consortiums today. Before we do that, we'll just talk a little bit about our current events, what's going on, watching um, that we're presently in the midst of a virus. And, you'll um, this is going to be a historical event going to be talked about for a long time. A lot of learning experiences will come from out of this. We're going to. I'm anticipating some incredible changes going on. One of my biggest hopes is that Black people, in general, disadvantaged folks, but this is for Black folks. Let's let Black folks not let. That's the wrong word. When Black folks consistently compete and um, consistently live lives that are just as privileged, consistently privileged as our white counterparts, then um, then maybe we can scrap this project and move on, lock elbows, go shoulder to shoulder at whatever's going on. We're not there yet. You know, this um, this global timeout. We got an opportunity right now to uh, take advantage of how things are being restructured right now, restarting, right? Every institution is shutting down, boom, 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 and the playing field is level and being, um, we're going up through this massive equalization right now. We don't want to miss the opportunities that are before us right now. Don't miss it. Don't miss out. Um, and it is opportunity. Yeah, it's we're gonna have some lean times. It's interesting. I was as messed up and convoluted as my first 50 years on this planet were, not knowing myself, mixed up in cocaine, homeless, and whatnot. I happened to this um, this event, global event. That doesn't hadn't touched me as bad as it has some of my other brothers and sisters, white, black, Spanish, um, Orientals. Everybody got touched. Nobody escaped this one, and that's what makes it an opportunity and so unique and so advantageous for us. um, and that's why I wish I had a big audience like the president or I don't know, even a news journalist, even just some uh, backwoods radio station, But I'm hoping that because no, a very, you know, I could probably count on one hand how many people are going to see this video, but I'm hoping that the 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 spirit of the world, that some mysterious force would galvanize our thinking and our thought and be like, this is an opportunity. Like when the smoke clears, I don't want to go back to the way things were. I wasn't doing too well in that system. I, you know, what's my boss have? What's his boss have? Well, what's her uh, a leadership role? You know, how did she get to that space? This is an opportunity for me to rise up. Yeah, don't don't go back to the way things were. You know, I got a little Twitter account and stuff, and I do my little tweets. But man, this is a time to demand more, take opportunities, make some wise investments, right? Because right, this past 300 some episodes where we are talking about how angry I am about this white power is doing so well and black folks are struggling and all this stuff. Well, I almost got a slap in the face here. Stop your whining and complaining, Tomlins, because now we're going to level the playing field and see. Now let's see what you do. Step up, step up or step off. Step up or go back to digging ditches, humping boxes, working in warehouses, right? Tell you a story. There's a man's walking out in the woods one day. This is a wealthy man, and walking out in the woods. It's a new piece of woods that he's walking in. He loves nature, and he hears this sound. It's a man chopping down trees, hard labor, right? And as every time he swings the axe, he says, "Oh, Adam, oh, Adam, oh, Adam." And the he's been intrigued by this worker swinging an axe, saying, "Oh, Adam." So he approaches the man and his labor. He says, "Yeah, sir, what's going on?" Um, well, I'm chopping down the tree, dum dum. I say, he knows that. He says, "Why do you say, 'oh, Adam,' as he's chopping down the tree?" And he says, "Well, because it's original sin, It's Adam's fault that I have to chop down this damn tree. I got to do hard labor. And so every time I swing my axe, I say, 'oh, Adam.'" And the guy says, "Okay, tell you what, I'm independently wealthy. Drop everything. Come with me." And he brings him to a house, and the man says, "This is one of my houses, only one." And it's a huge mountain. A building, huge vast rooms, like a Gone with the Wind type staircase right as you enter the front door. That type of building. He says, "This is one of my houses. You live here, don't pay any bills, eat all you want. You don't even have to clean up after yourself. This your hard labor is over." And he says, "There's only one little rule. You see that nightstand over there off to the side, out of the way? There's a little box on top of that nightstand." The man says, "Whatever you do, don't open that little box, because as soon as you do that, all this is gone. Take it away from you. And you'll probably have to go back to chopping trees." So the guy says, "That's it?" "Yeah, no problem." "All right, good, good. Oh, yeah, yeah, bet. Nice. Yeah, that's a solid. Things are good for a time." But after a while, the woodcutter, we'll call him, he starts to, every time he walks past that box, his interest, uh, it piques his interest. He gets a little more interested. Finally, one day he says, "Well, what could be in this little box?" He's been traveling. He's got girls now, resources, ease, and comfort. He even started working out. He didn't get fat. He really used the time well. He went back to school. He learned some new skills. Um, he was active in his community. All these things came together for the woodcutter. But this little box stuck in his mind one day, and he says, "Oh, this can't hurt just to take a little peek." So he he touches it, and as soon as it gets a little crack in it, it springs open, and out of that flies a live butterfly, which is amazing because this man has been living the life for quite some time now that this little insect has flown out of the box. Amazing. He doesn't think nothing of it. But, as he's pondering this little insect, he hears key at the front door, opens up. It's the wealthy man. And he says, "You open the box. Come with me." And he escorts him to the same tree. He didn't finish the tree, so it actually grew, had a big divot in it. All his tools were there in pristine condition. It hadn't changed a bit. It's been years. And he says, "Well, you lost everything. This, I don't know what you're going to do, but this is where I found you. So this may be a good place for you to start. But that opportunity, you've blown it." And the man goes to chopping the tree, and he goes, "Oh, Tomlins, oh, Tomlins," right? Because it's his fault. And, when the opportunity came, he found out that it wasn't a matter of blame and history and whatnot. You know, Within his context, he got that opportunity to make a difference for himself in his own life, and he blew it. Now, fortunately, life sometimes isn't that stringent. We get second and third and fourth chances even. I've gotten so many restarts and opportunities, I've lost track. But this global economic reset, this is this has never happened before. This isn't the Great Depression where, some economy messed up and all that. This is economics and health combined in one. And so this is a whole different ball game. We have an opportunity to uh, maximize and benefit from what's going on in the world right now. So let's get into it. Um, Hopefully, we can stir ourselves up for some change. And this message is for whoever listens to it. I think it's valuable, but we'll see. I know I'm going to do something with it, something positive. I'm inspired to do this work by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. I've read a couple of his books. We use these books to inform much of our discussion, our mindset. If you look at the past videos and kind of get caught up, you'll see what's going on here. Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. He wrote Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice, and Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com, here on YouTube, easy to find on the internet. Behind me, you see the hashtag #US2Simple. You'll find Black women supporting one another, sustaining their community and support. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, kind of a Black Facebook experience. If you have a business mind, entrepreneurial mindset, check out Dr. Boyce Watkins at the Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com. We have We've had story time in the past. Harriet Beecher Stowe's phenomenal work uh, about fictional life for slaves, but informed by real events. So today, with our last half of our time here, we're going to look at something I noticed we're very sensitive to uh, is, and this is just, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks ago. I saw this white man, business owner, and he says, and they're responding to the needs of this pandemic with, PPE, face masks, face and gowns and things like that. The country really got caught off guard. So much so that we're importing a lot of that necessary gear to protect our healthcare workers. A lot of healthcare workers died from exposure to this thing. So anyway, but he's on, and he says he developed a consortium of, of companies, groups to respond um, rapidly to the need for some of these masks and protective. And I said, "Wow, man, that's like that is such a good ability to have to rapidly uh, get your community to coalesce and respond to a need." Now, also, he ain't doing it for free. I mean, there's a lot of altruism going on in the planet and in the United States. We're dumping our food, so a lot of people are giving a lot of food away, but that's because they got to dump it. That's a whole different thing. But it's still altruistic. They're charging at cost or very little in some cases. They're giving it away too, so that's a good thing. But this idea of his consortium, now that's a financial opportunity in the midst of crisis, right? There are a lot of people, men and women, who are maximizing this time financially. Trust me, right? There's going to be people. It's up there. I'm not going to call his consortium evil, but there are plenty of uh, ways to price gouge and all that stuff. Although that's been highly minimized because there the economic machine, it's a system, and right. So but nobody's making money to buy stuff to that. Even oil prices have just fell off a cliff. It's a good thing. But he can develop a consortium. It's a collection of men, women, companies come together, and they can communicate, cooperate, and get stuff done rapidly. Right? I don't know too many black consortiums um, out there. Maybe I should have Googled or done an internet source search. I'm sure there are, but the problem is, like, if there are, they're not visible. Um, I've not heard of them performing some uh, grand project like making um, ventilators or face masks or machines that clean face masks and all this stuff, right? So that impressed me so much that I just wanted to do a segment on consortiums and how they could um, how that could be another goal for Black folks. So you see, Black folks in our business, and I said this in our last episode about Black sustainability. Why are we so blinded by profit? Right? Well, we don't. We're not. This thing, this profit, and all, it's become such a religion. Our economics is a religion, and we worship it as a god. We really do, right? Work as as our sacrifice in the system. You got to work. Well, my mindset of self determination does not include working my life for somebody else so that they can benefit and their kids can have a room to themselves, an electronic device, um, brand new cars as an early age. It's like, dude, where do you get that? So the consortium, don't get me ranting. I could go on and on, but I'm not here to serve you and expend myself in the system. That's not my purpose. But the consortium, this guy, hey, let's call up, he calls somebody in Vail, Colorado, upstate New York, probably Washington State, somebody in California and whatnot, and Dallas, maybe somebody out there of Kansas City, Missouri, and let's make a consortium and let's do a project and stuff, come together and make money. Where I was like, wow, some of these guys could probably even get volunteers for some of the prefabrication of some of this stuff that they want to make. Wow. Anyway, um, and even if they don't maybe get paid now, there's some type of deal going on where they're going to be reciprocated later on for whatever they put into the system, right? The people transporting products, they're making money. A lot of people making money during this crisis. Black folks need to do this and keep it in house, keep it um, centered, and let it circulate, let it gather strength and pressure within the Black community. Get a Black community to begin with. Um, know that it's a possibility and all that. Black people, we seem to be so quick to spend our energy. We dissipate so much of our potential out there when we really just don't have to. See, the one reason there is such this almost magical sustained white success is because they've been doing it a long time and they've been in that position. It's a lifestyle mindset, expectation, to be white and always be circulating near the top, right? With this disease, this virus, this global shutdown, everything is back to zero. And some of the some of the forces that were a drain on Black folks, um, they've disappeared, or at least Black folks now are in a position uh, to mitigate a lot of that. If you've seen the video, uh, about the race, where you line up people of all nationalities, ethnicities on a starting line, and then you let them move ahead as um, uh, uh, as they demonstrate uh, their privilege in the system. The line is the system. They say, oh, if you've never been um, oppressed because of your color, take us 2 or 3 steps, and most white people, boom, 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 a handful of blacks, oh, and uh, things of that nature. And you see that by time you get to the finish line um, under that system, it's going to be mostly white folks, right? But that race is going to look so much different now, right? And this consortium, and any corporation and any collective, cooperative of white folks becomes um, those are activities now that are a possibility for all people, not just white people. So we've got a real opportunity here, right, to for black businesses to get their cooperatives going and and be successful for the black community. It'd be nice to see, now that we have an event here that has leveled the playing field, that makes everything very very even, right? As I mean, like you see in this crisis, you see groups of white people coming together successfully to maximize, to make the most out of this opportunity. I wish I had me a big plant somewhere. I'd retool it and make these machines and stuff. Well, I get paid for that. Those aren't free. Um, these um, the president wants to use executive orders to create ventilators. Well, they're not free. The company that makes them, they get paid profit, right? It's not some altruistic thing. It's just the country's telling them to retool to make something else. Black people need this. We need to cooperate. We need to come together. Like Shaquille O'Neal, right? He's got this. He just started a show, and uh, his basketball career gave him the opportunity. He was smart. He put his money into some insurance, Papa John's, and all that. And he's the first black CEO in Papa John's and all this. His achievement is honorable, worthy of merit, but I don't see him bringing black folks along, saying anything for black folks. Does you know he's surrounded. When it comes to entertainment and stuff, he's got Snoop Dogg and some other probably high profile. He was an NBA star. He's got a couple rings, no doubt. So yeah, I get it. But some of that lifestyle is the norm for a whole lot of white folks. Well, I wish we could get somebody to rise up and make it the norm for black folks, right? One way we're going to do it's going to take time. We can't depend on our entertainers, athletes to do that. You see what happens when an athlete really gets serious. Um, with Colin Kaepernick, when you get serious about making a statement for black folks, you become a great target. So, we got a long way to go. But this idea about consortiums, idea about bringing um, black resources together to coalesce, that's an important point. Think of try to reverse it. Think about a big group of black men and women with enough money to buy Papa John's. You think that would happen? I think not. You can offer Papa John's all the money in the world. You can offer McDonald's all the money in the world. Uh, but if you're black, you're going to get some stiff resistance. Those kind of blue chip power, those monopoly pieces in the world are controlled by white folks, and white folks are going to want to stay in control of that, uh, even to their hurt. Okay. Um, Economic messages at this time are important. Consortiums is just one aspect to think about, um, for black success, for black people to have that common denominator, to be competitive, um, and respected in the system. We got this opportunity right now. Now that the whole system shut off, it's going to come back on. You know, don't have the mindset that you have to be some drone, some worker bee in the system. Get some of that power and that influence. Be competitive. Demand more. I'm Thomas Nyback. That's day 325 out of the way. Read the description that goes along well with this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.